from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Net Radio.
Islands in the sun, islands in the fun. Welcome, welcome one and all to the land of death. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. When they come to Bacchanal, well, they can't beat we at Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. Sweet woman parade abundantly. The brethren, they full of energy. Some people say God is a Trini. Paradise are not convincingly. God gave us a spirit fiery, but nothing in the world will bother we. But look, a smart man gone with money. We still come out and mash up the party. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, how I love of this country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, how I love of my country. Sweet, sweet TNT. All this sugar can be good for me. Oh, from Coco to Caroni. Oh, Maraval to Sanssouci. Oh, from Scarborough to Cocorie. Oh, profiling on Frederick Street. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, how I love of this country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, how I love of my country. Sweet, sweet TNT. All this sugar can be good for me. All these years I spent abroad in the cold, longing to be home. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. Lord, I pray that some sweet day I will no longer have to roam. Trini to the bone, Trini to the bone. The problems we have are plain to see. We prove we could stand the scrutiny. All I know that true democracy. How we vote is not how we party. There's no place like home, some people say. Though some have to leave to make their way, but in your hearts I know their destiny. So come home and big up the country. Sweet, sweet TNT. Lord, how I love of this country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be. Sweet, sweet TNT. Lord, how I love of the country. Sweet, sweet TNT. All this sugar can be good for me. From Cuba to Signal Hill, Arima to Charlottesville, Matlock down to Port of Spain. We play in my rain. Sweet, sweet TNT. Oh, I love of the country. Sweet, sweet TNT. No place in this world I'd rather be.
It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
No place in this world I'd rather be. Sweet.
No place in this world I'd rather be. And trust me, there's no other place in this world that you should be. Of course, we can't hold everybody. So good morning wherever you may be. Good morning Trinidad, good morning to Tobago. Neighbors in the Caribbean, get up, get up. Friends who are streaming all around the globe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome everybody to our slice of paradise. Welcome to New Era TT Radio. We are the heartbeat of the Caribbean. We take you above and beyond, right? I want to say much thanks as always to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. And everything that we do, dear Father, let it be a blessing on to you. People, I am yours truly, Sir Charles. Happy am I to be in your company this morning. And together with our unstoppable team, yes, this is your Get Up and Go. Everybody, welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
You know, I must put the instrumental version of that as the background music for the show.
Yeah, you can do that.
So we have a little vibe in the back.
Yeah.
So to just satisfy some deranged craving, you have to sing on a morning. Is that what it is?
No, I don't have to sing. I don't have to sing.
No, it's infectious. It's very
every now and then you just see my shoulders moving like this, man. In the middle of an argument, you're talking nonsense. Anyway, good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever you are on planet. What's that? I thought you were saying something to Jazz. I said good morning to our viewers. Yeah, good morning to our viewers and listeners wherever you are on planet Earth. And much better than that. And welcome to the Breakfast Show. and of course, welcome to my co-hosts, Wendell and St. John's. Good morning, guys.
Good morning to you guys. Good to be here with you all, man.
Morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. You know, just a growing out me here and thing, right? You know, just I'm trying to get that colonial, not the colonial, no, that kind of statesman-like look, you know, I kind of.
Check us back in 2 months and ask us again, man.
I could leave it alone. If I leave it, can you imagine me leaving my hair for 2 months? My God, I'd look like a hippie. I would look like a hippie. But anyway, good morning. We're here. We're happy to be in the land of the living. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. It is. And where do I have birthdays. I have a special birthday today. I don't care who else's birthday it is today, but today is my cousin, deacon of the Anglican Church, school teacher Miles Walcott. He is celebrating his birthday today.
Today's his birthday. You know, I thought his birthday was in the week. No, but we are in the week.
Yeah, we are really in the week. Yeah. Today is August 26th, and it's the birthday of my favorite cousin, Miles Walcott. Two of us
Okay,
grew
so
up
happy
as
birthday, Miles.
Yeah, two of us grew up like brothers, more or less, because my brothers were older, a lot older than I am, and Miles is more around my age, and he's an only child, you know what I mean? So he grew up with us, you know, and so today he is celebrating his birthday. Miles Walcott. For those of you who know him, he did about every exam it had in Trinidad and Tobago and passed all. I don't know how he did it, but he passed zoology, botany, chemistry, agriculture, science. You name the exam, Miles did it, and he passed it. He knows the Bible from cover to cover. He knows the Bhagavad Gita. He knows the Quran. He knows all these books cover to cover. I don't know how he does it. I really don't, you know, but he is a wealth of knowledge, you understand, in terms of every aspect of history and geography and, you name it. He knows everything. I always tell him that. The only thing he couldn't do properly was write properly. And I say, but you pass English? Oh, you pass English. With that crap of foot and writing. Anyway, but he's such a nice guy, you know. Today he is a school teacher, and of course he is a deacon in the Anglican Church. You know what I mean? And sometimes my sisters and them ask him, what you doing preaching to people? But he will do a funeral, he will do a wedding, you name it, he'll do everything in the Anglican Church. You know what I mean? He's one of the favorites inside the day. You know, so good morning, Miles, and happy birthday. Today is also Porter Spain's birthday, Anthony Joseph. He is also celebrating his birthday today. And
I haven't seen him for a while, you know. I find he has gone kind of quiet.
No, I heard him on an radio station recently, you know, because I was wondering about him. And I did hear him, so I was happy to hear, because I know he travels a lot too. He goes away around this time. I don't think he's here.
Yeah,
most time he is Labor Day. He is Labor Day and all those other things. You know what I mean? Today is also Joel Hardin's birthday. He used to be a counselor in San Juan Lavantil. Joe Maraj, D Nice, who else I have as why are these people repeating as birthdays on my thing? I don't know why. I have some people like about their names coming up 3 and 4 times as a birthday. All right, so that's it. So happy birthday, Miles. Hope you're listening.
All right, so you know this is the point at which we can get into well, happy birthday, Miles, and other birthday people who have birthdays today. I was checking to see if I had any birthdays today, but sometimes I find that sometimes I don't. But you know, Facebook is the big reminder.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can find birthdays, sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's right there, and then sometimes it just disappears into the ether, so you don't know where it is. But you know, it's time for our good news. We open our good news. I have several videos of good news today, but I'll just play. I have 3, but I'll play at least 2. One is for Jamaica, and one, since nobody else is doing it. I watched that. By the way, I watched that opposition press conference yesterday. Well, not live. I watched it on YouTube. It came up on my YouTube feed. I said, I didn't even know they had a press conference. And so I watched it because I was wondering how come nobody is saying anything about anything in terms of some of the things that need to be said about. Now, that's a strange sentence I just said. But, you get what I mean. And specifically with regard to defending Trinidad and Tobago, with regard to J.D. Vance and what he says. So one of my good news is the defense of that. So let's just get into our good news segment.
years, entertainers have been the lifeblood of Jamaica's culture, but many have struggled without basic health coverage. Now that's about to change. The Entertainment Ministry, in partnership with Guardian Life Limited, has rolled out the Jamaica Entertainers and Creatives Plan, a first-of-its-kind health insurance scheme in the Caribbean. Raymond Morrison has the details.
Now, this is a plan where you don't have to give anything. You just have to continue to be committed Jamaicans in building the industry and contributing to the development of your country and the development of your craft.
The contract, signed by Culture and Entertainment Minister Olivia Babsy Grange and Guardian Life Group President Eric Hosen, marks a historic step in providing health insurance coverage for Jamaica's entertainers and creative with Guardian Life.
We signed a contract earlier which covered life and personal accident, but although we did that, I felt it was incomplete, that we needed to cover health. So today, you're going to get your health card. Some of you can't just go to the doctor and what you do, you just swipe your card, right? And that's major.
Minister Grange then stressed that while the benefits are not millions, they're essential, giving coverage to many who previously had none.
Right now, I know that many don't have insurance. You neither have health insurance nor life insurance.
To highlight the fact that Jamaica is now leading the region, being the only CARICOM country to implement such an initiative for the creative community.
In fact, no small island developing states or developing countries have instituted a similar program. This program is unique to us.
Mr. Hosen underscored that the agreement is more than just a formality, but a promise of protection and peace of mind for artists.
It provides a foundation of security, dignity, and peace of mind to those who often work outside traditional employment structure, but contribute immensely to the culture and economic life of our nation.
The plan has been welcomed by entertainers who turned out in large numbers to the signing ceremony at the ministry, applauding what they say is a long overdue benefit for the creative sector. Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
Hi. I'm not the video type of girl that likes to talk. I just, do my little pictures and fun videos and that's it. But in my heart, I feel I need to address this. It really upsets me. There's crime everywhere. It's all over this world. And for him to pinpoint out one particular country, one country that really has a close place to my heart, I feel like I have to say something. Trinidad is so beautiful, literally, from the people, the places, the culture, everything about Trinidad that I visit was literally beautiful. And I want to tell people, do not go off of what you hear on social media. Don't go off of stuff you read. Because I'm telling you, visit Trinidad on your own and you will see how beautiful that place really is. Because really, it's crime everywhere. Not just Trinidad. And for him to just pick out one country, it's kind of, yeah. But visit Trinidad. I promise you, you won't regret it. If you don't have a passport, get your passport. Visit it. You'll fall in love. It's beautiful, beautiful. Literally. The people are so amazing. They're so loving, so welcoming. The scenery, the food, everything is just It's literally just beautiful. I fell in love with Trinidad, and I'm so happy I can call that my second home now. Go visit Trinidad. It's amazing. Sweet Trini, I love you.
You see that testimony, that last testimony there? That is somebody who gets some serious loving in Trinidad. You could tell.
And you're not talking about just the beach and the food.
Nah. That person get loving.
I wonder if she went across Long Island and where the guys?
No man's arm.
No, the Goodwood and the next guy.
Goodwood and yeah, maybe she went Goodwood in Tobago.
Yeah.
Or Woodland in
Woodland.
Subash. Me ain't about Subash for a while.
Yeah, Subash, how are you doing?
Yeah.
That was all good news for today, so I decided to play those two. One because I didn't see anybody give a strong defense of Trinidad and Tobago with regard to J.D. Vance. Obviously, the current government washed their hands of it and kind of just, but they don't seem to be criticizing the Americans for anything.
No.
And they kind of wash their hands and say, well, that is the PNM crime. And and it's not often I agree with Amy Brown, but I did agree with him yesterday when he said that when the Vice President of the United States disparages Trinidad in a way that is unflattering, it's not Trinidad and Tobago of the PNM or Trinidad and Tobago of the UNC. It's Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a message that resonates around the planet. And, nobody said anything. I felt even the opposition was slow to say something, quite frankly. I felt they were slow to say something about it. But I saw them say something about it in the press conference. But nobody said anything. And then I came across this video with this girl who said it, who's not Trinidadian, but came to the defense, and say, it's wrong to everywhere has crime and put up a defense that was more patriotic than most of our politicians.
Yeah. Good video.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. So take with it what you want. But anyway, let's get to greeting people on our stream.
Yes. Let me first.
Just 30 seconds, Wendell.
Sure.
Because I do want that thing that happened there in Jamaica to go unnoticed, really, also, because that's a major thing. Trinidad need to copy that ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isn't that wonderful?
That is more than wonderful, because
but it's long overdue too, eh?
I don't want you to just miss the fact that life and personal accident was part of it before, and they now extended it health insurance, and it doesn't cost them anything.
Yeah. We need that, because I'm looking especially for our artists because people may feel that things artists do that they was making this whole set of money and
they always say they're making all this sort of money as an artist, and they don't know what the struggle is. I saw an interview with Bunji, and Bunji was talking about all of the new artists who enjoyed some of the benefits that they never had. Mm-hmm. He said when you were going to perform abroad, you had to have somebody to stay by. They weren't providing any place for you to stay by.
No.
Yes.
You had to have a place to stay by. And he said that if they were providing a place, sometimes you have to sleep on your own bag. There is no bed. There is nothing. Because all you got, as far as those promoters in the US were concerned, or wherever else you went, you were there to work.
Yeah, and you had to find yourself there too.
They had no programs, they had nothing like that. And he was saying that, there was a lot of sacrifice made from those who went before in terms of the conditions they had to suffer to make a buck.
Yes.
Yes.
Trinidad Killer gave an interesting story one time about what he had to do, and where he stayed in terms of going for a performance and so on, And it's even harder on the other islanders, the smaller islanders,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
harder for them.
It's a lot of love that don't bring nothing. You understand?
Yep.
But we'll get back to it when we have time to really ventilate it properly. I think we should probably deal with it another day also too.
We could get a couple artists to come in and talk about,
talk
that historical perspective of it.
Yeah.
But let me also take this opportunity to express condolences on behalf of the Breakfast Show to the Lenny Sate, Dr. Lenny Sate family.
Yes.
Passed away yesterday. He almost just dropped off of the map.
He did.
You haven't heard about Dr. Sate for a long time. But he passed away yesterday. I don't know at what age, but there's a tribute to him. The Express did a full back page tribute to him today. But I remember Dr. Sate. That man, he was a strange man. And that he was so strange. He was one of the few politicians who didn't say much, He didn't speak much, but he had this authoritative way about him that when he walked into a room or when Dr. Sate was, you would know, because he was a towering figure too, and you would know that he was there. But he was so quietly effective that both Prime Minister Manning and Prime Minister Rowley depended a lot on his advice. You understand? He was like Mr. Manning's go-to man. He acted as Prime Minister for more than anyone else, I think, in this country at one point in time. If you remember, he was chairman of the PNM and he was Minister of Planning. I remember too, Dr. Sate at one point in time, he was in charge of the legislative group, which is the group with all the councillors and so on. And you would meet him in that room. He would never walk in that room after you. You would meet him sitting at that table. And the meeting is to start 5 o'clock. Dr. Sate would knock that table at 5 p.m. on the dot. He would knock that table. Okay? He would ask for a count as to a quorum. He would give them 15 minutes. If that 15 minutes is up and people don't arrive to make up that quorum, that's the end of that meeting. That meeting is off.
Yeah.
He was that efficient. He would never be late for anything. You understand? So God rest his soul, Dr. Lenny Sate. He really was a towering, important figure in the People's National Movement and in the country as a whole. He collected the nation's highest award, I think, in 2017 under Dr. Keith Rowley as Prime Minister. God rest his soul. He really was a really gem of a human being. Right?
Yeah, so our condolences to his family and close friends.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's run through the greetings quickly.
Yes. Valerie Mendoza came in once again at 12:01 a.m. Well done, Miss Mendoza. You're timing it well. Is that when you're putting bread in the oven? I don't know. Susan Jessup, good morning. Brennan Smith from Goodwood in Tobago. Brennan Smith, you had a nice greeting early on from a lady. Ava Smith, Wendy Ann and Frank James, Marcia Rock from Orlando, Erica Charles from Mova, Boy Bidesi from Debe, Michael Cadet, Robert Taylor from Fernandina Beach, Cheryl Johnson from Malabar, Wayne Ramsey from Fort Lauderdale, Ann Noel is she from Oshawa? I think she is. Marlon Motley from North Palsane.
Morning, Marlon.
Diane Payne, Carol Guevara from Chaguanas, Rena Jennings from Pity Valley, Trini Bree, why is the media not taking more interest in the missing fentanyl? Yeah, that was a big story too yesterday.
Yeah,
that was the part of the opposition's press conference yesterday.
Yeah, we'll come back to that because we need to talk that.
Yes, we'll try to get someone to talk that too. Norris Ferguson from BV, Odell Guy from Sangre Grande, Odell who passed and checked me last week, Friday also. Doreen Pierre, DL, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr, Garvin Frank, Kathy Ann Charles, what name is that? I don't know. Nurua, Zuru Gaming. Oh Lord, people trying all kind of things. Carol Guevara, all this sugar can't be good for me. You stop there and feel so. I had a bottle of cold coffee this morning. I scorched my mouth over the weekend and I can't drink hot tea. Brent Hackshaw, Sherma Paul, Carl M. Jack, Margaret Thomas, Joyce Phillip, Carl M. Jackson must have him on the show. I don't know who is that, who the him is that. Claire Lendo Rollins, Joanne Cyrus, that's a new name. Trinidad Margot, Felix Kazu, blessings to you, Miles, birthday blessings from Carl Guevara, Estelita Samson, whoever not interested is, Wendell, grow the hair, your hair is beauty, yeah, I'll grow it one day, grow it back. Avanel Brown, well done, Jamaica, not interested, says nice Irish accent. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Donna Ramlo-chan, Alistair Hart. All right, whoever not interested is clearly a name that change, because anytime you see it start a chat, so I know the pattern. Ozzy Molino, truth sets you free. The US said they were here to stop drug trafficking from Venezuela. Our Prime Minister now talking about, yeah, it's confusing. It's crazy. You're very right. Jennifer, well done, Babsy. She was Bounty Killer's first manager. Culture is in her blood and she gets things done. Is that the Jamaican story?
Probably. And culture minister, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Good morning, gentlemen, from Michael Mapp. David McCarthy says, top of the day, Sir Charles Wendell, Stephen, and Council Richard Raghubar Singh. Continue to be the classy professionals that you are. Miles Walcott, he's on the chat this morning. The birthday boy, giving thanks.
Happy birthday, Miles.
Giving thanks to Almighty God for life. I must have you meet Miles one day, Richard. Because trust me, he's going to ask you 1,000,001 question and then ask you 1,000,001 again, right? Just remember I told you that, right? Lyndon Williams, Pamela Grimshaw, CJ from New York. Morning, CJ.
Morning,
Pamela
CJ.
Grimshaw also sends birthday blessings to her beautiful daughter, Janella. So, Janella, happy birthday from your mom, Pamela, and from us on the breakfast show. My condolences to his family, Diane Payne. Richard, no. Dean Allen says, hi, Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles. Trinidad and Tobago have social health care. It needs fixing, but we have free health care. That's true.
Doesn't Jamaica have free health care?
Sorry?
Doesn't Jamaica have free health care?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
I think it does. But I think what the health insurance is for, like if you're doing doctor's visits, things like that, it will cover the cost of those things.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that Trinidadians and Tobagonians pay for with regard to healthcare, Dean Allen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't wait 2 years to get an X-ray, and you will forward the money to pay it if you can.
Yeah, you'll go to a lab and get it done.
You'll go to a lab and get it done.
Including blood tests. A lot of doctors now are actually sending you to labs to get your blood tests done.
Because it's quicker than we go through the public healthcare system.
Yeah. Sankofa say bountiful graces and blessings. Apollonus, good morning. Debbie Mitchell, Robert Harper, Ava Smith says condolences to the Sate family. Kurt Hope from Kentucky. Anthony Atwell, greetings, breakfast show. David Wares from David and Cheryl, rest in peace. Lenny Sate, Dr. Lenny Sate. Shema Paul, good morning, guys. I'm from Central. Carl M. Jacks, your cousin. Oh, Miles, okay. Jennifer says, good morning. Sankofa said, cold coffee. Nah, man. Well, I didn't have a choice. I can't drink it up. And Jennifer says, I encountered Dr. Sate in the course of my work, and he and his wife were always gracious. Dr. Sate was a robust advocate for Trinidad and Tobago. It's so very true. The Jamaica Culture Minister's name is Olivia Babsy Grange. Everyone calls her Babsy. All right? Those are the greetings. Apollonus says condolences to the family of Dr. Sate also. All right? So those are the greetings.
So let me say good morning to Jennifer Marchand. Good morning to you, Jen. Good morning to Riaz Shah, Kent in Laventel, Fifi out there in Columbus, Ohio. Fifi's in Addis Ababa. Ababa.
Yes.
Mahi is out there in Columbus, Ohio. Right, and Mr. Billy out here in Powder Magazine. Good day to you. Captain Ron in Orlando. Norris Ferguson out there in Chaguanas. Cynthia Aaron out there in Atlanta.
Norris Ferguson where?
It's not Chaguanas, yes?
He moved. Oh. I always suspected something with him, you know.
Norris, talk about that, right?
I wonder if Laurie know you have a house in Chaguanas.
He called us, Cynthia, Aaron, or Aaron out there in Atlanta.
That's where he's from originally.
Good morning to you. And Sandra Serret out there in Brazil Village. All these people are here. So we're going to take the break quickly and come back.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Coach, yes, Coach, are you passionate about serving others and supporting people as they reach the highest version of themselves? My name is Jesse McBarrow, and I've been able to earn a living as a life coach serving people all around the world, and so can you. Are you ready to be internationally certified? Enroll today for this program and learn everything that you need to know about being a professional life coach. Listen, there are payment plans available as well too, so see you in class.
For registration, contact the Institute of Health and Fitness at 336-4935.
All right, so we are back, and of course, this is the point at which we get into the news, so we can do the express. And Gwendolyn, you can send me the poll if you haven't sent it already.
Sure.
Morning poll for today. Yeah.
Yes. But today I have the express, but there's a story that I have to just get into just a wee bit, because it's the strangest, one of the strangest stories you will, well, no. Nothing strange coming out of Trinidad and Tobago these days. Trinidad and Tobago, I don't know if you all are aware, but we have someone at the remand prison called Rajai Ali, right? He has been accused of all manner of things. He has even been accused of plotting to destabilize the country lately and creating mischief, criminal gangs, and threats against this one and threats against that one. He is detained for the last more than 10 years. He is further detained at the Tetron barracks, right? And yet still, they have issued a preventive, what do they call it? A preventive detention order for somebody who is already detained, because they say he's still communicating with gangs on the outside. You listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago? How?
When I was watching that last night, I'm like, they moved it from X to Y, and Y is supposed to be even more secure, and it's still, according to what they're saying, still able to communicate and coordinate, because you're like the ultimate conductor or criminal conductor, inverted commas, according to the state.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying according to the state, that you coordinating stuff even when you're in Tetron.
Yes.
So now they have you on a detention. They put you on a detention order now, where it even limits your rights even further. as an accused person, because I think you don't have the same rights as an accused person.
No.
When you're detained under a detention order. And it's weird and weirder. And you are right, it's very strange, because I was like, what? First of all, you're saying the prison facility couldn't contain communication. That was your excuse.
Right.
Okay. So you put the high value ones in Tetron. And now that is not even secure enough. What does that say about the people? Because he can't do it by himself.
No.
So what does that say about the people who are manning all of these institutions if what you're saying is correct? Right. So let's go with what the state is saying as being accurate. And the state is saying that there is still communication emanating. You don't put him in a detention order with 15 other people. It wasn't him alone.
Right.
I think it was a detention order with 15 other people. But of course, the media is only concerned with Raji Ali and I think his brother. They're not concerned with the only 15. I wanted to know who the other 15 people were.
Yeah, they named them.
What is the story behind the other 15 people? No media house carried that as far as I was concerned, at least at what I could tell from last night. They were just focused on Raji Ali and his brother.
Yeah.
So now you put them under detention orders that limits their rights even further because you are alleging, and we have to consider it allegations at this point, you are alleging that there is even more communication going out and more coordination going on. And I'm like, wait, so under detention order, why are you putting them now? Because if you couldn't trust the prison service and you couldn't trust Tetron, where you could trust with a detention order? Where are you putting them now? Huh? Where are you putting them now that suddenly the detention order fixes it?
Probably like
to be a magician.
Probably like Google, they might be putting them in the clouds.
They are saying he has been able to communicate and engage in gang activity despite his incarceration in the MSP and at Tetron in Stowells Bay, and is an immediate threat to public safety. His further detention is necessary as he has shown that he has the means and resources to continue to engage in gang activity despite his present incarceration and is a threat to the safety of the public. There is a real risk and clear and present danger to members of the public and to public officials, including members of the protective services, that can become a reality unless he is preventively detained. What rubbish? Trinidad and Tobago, are they buying this?
So it brings me back to the question now, Wendell. Where are you putting him that is so secure? Because all of the places that you mentioned were supposed to be very secure. And
there's a movie, Richard. I don't know if you all remember the movie, right? This guy, he was incarcerated for something that he didn't do. And he dug a channel.
Dug his way out. I remember that.
From the prison back out. And was going and killing all the judges, the attorneys, everybody associated with his case. What movie that was? I think it was with George Butler. He was escaping from there.
Anyhow, guys, let's do the headlines as we.
And he killed.
No, please, nothing like that. But I mean, don't even put that out in the universe. But
no, I'm just saying there's actually a movie like that.
Yeah, but no, that's not the same thing. You are extending it into another realm. But all I'm saying is that I know his attorneys are before the court system, so we'll see how the court deals with all of this.
Law-abiding citizen. That's the name of the movie. Law-abiding citizen. Only watch that movie. Because that's what Diamond Raji Ali is. He had to be that person.
All right, let's do the headlines.
And you're saying he's law-abiding?
No, I'm not saying he's law-abiding.
That's it, Wendell.
The name of the movie is Law-Abiding Citizen.
Sometimes you need to zip it. Zip it good.
The name of the movie is Law-Abiding Citizen.
Zip it.
And let's get to the headlines as it's now 14 minutes before 7 o'clock.
Sorry, Sir Charles, but I
couldn't hear. Yeah, that mosquito in the background.
Yeah.
It's now 30 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock.
There it is again. Where is the flicker Zena would say?
Cousin. That's all about it. I did not resign. There's another piece of bacchanal with the FCB CEO. First Citizen
This is the
CEO,
headline?
Rights Minister Sorat. That's the headline. I did not resign. That's the headline in today's Express. And there's a picture of Karen Darbesi, who is seeking corrections from the Minister Kennedy Swarting. Why is a minister getting involved in this, in the resignation or whatever is happening at sea in FCB? Kennedy Swarting rocks. Penny to government, hands off First Citizens. That's also in the papers. Kamla not backing down. PM CARICOM security fractured long time. Rowley accuses PM of reckless foreign policy and says CARICOM has been sacrificed. Rajaya threat, that's also in the newspapers, and in the back, PNM mourns for Safe, and there's a picture of Dr. Lenny Safe as he received the country's highest award in 2017. PNM plans own event, Fire One backs 1 day of prayer. Well, what do you know? And those are some of the trending stories in today's Express.
All right, the news day for today, the main headlines. Penny tells government pay workers on time in August. The raise is just some workers not being paid on time, like daily paid workers and some others, but I don't know what I was about. I didn't hear, and this was the first I heard of it. So they brought that up in the press conference yesterday. Education Ministry book grant payments underway. Chihuahua's Chamber, cartel influence, organized crime in region must be curbed. Justice system under fire as cops complain of delay in case. And President, opposition paid tribute to former Minister Lenny Safe. A Mayaro man fatally stabbed in Princestown. And Raji Ali among 15 new SOE detainees, 4 detention orders revoked. And Grenada minister's ex-wife threatens Ian Allen with lawsuit over U.S. visa post. So that's it for the headlines in the news day. Over to you on the Guardian, Sir Charles.
All right. So Fire One supports silent fireworks as stores to close on Independence Day. Big news. Ramley Akongso wants $1 million for celebrations. Tetron breached again, and of course that's the Reggie Ali situation. Brown brands Kamla's U.S. military remarks reckless. Cabello, TNT's interference in Venezuela affairs shameful. And Education Ministry assures all book grants to be dispersed by September the 5th. All right, and that's it. It have plenty more, but that's it.
All right, so we can have our lines at this point, 281-1315, 281, oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing, 281-1315, and this is your opportunity to get interactive with us. So 281-1315. Let me also bring up the numbers there. There you are. Lines are open. 281-1315. We want to hear what you have to say as we get to the poll at around 5 to 7. We'll get to the poll. Or 6:55 for those of you who prefer it said that way.
Okay. Kola, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Good morning, Dabity. Welcome
Good
home.
morning, Wendell. Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
Good morning.
So this FCB story. So what it is, one day we have something, one day we hear something else. And look at the headlines today. When the lady said, Mr. Basti said she did not resign. So if she didn't resign, that means she did not write a letter. So what it is that Mr. Sawasing read, and then I read yesterday as well that
no, she did write a letter. That was in the context of the letter. That's what she said
about what it is, the package, what it is, right? So I have seen clearly that they have somebody to bring in, and they wanted to go now because the board is still there. Huh? The board is still there, so therefore. Why didn't they change our board so long? So long to talk about. How come that board or not smart is still there? So
there are certain boards you can't just change.
But she has just a month. How long again? I think October is her retirement time. So what are we rushing the woman to go for? If it's pre-retirement, I have no problem with that. You have vacation inside, take it until that. But after working I know, yeah. After working for so many donkey years, to come now and get this kind of treatment, I find it is too much, too much, too much. And people give human service to the country, and look what they get a kicking.
All right. Thank you very much, Dabadi. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, caller. Hello. Good morning. You listening on the other?
Listen on the radio. Listen to us on the phone when you're calling us.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Get someone else. Get someone else.
Yeah.
Go to the next call, Sir Charles.
Yeah. That was Lincoln there.
Lincoln doing that?
Hello, good morning to you, caller.
Lincoln of all people.
I surprised that Lincoln did not do that.
They don't know how to answer.
Miss Diego Martin, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Charles. Did you all see anything where they are saying the National Day of Praise now at the Diwali Nagar?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Wow,
and I saw a flyer for it. I saw a flyer saying it's at the Diwali Nagar.
Oh my Jesus. So what about what about the stadium? What about the why this government afraid the Queen's Park Savannah? So somebody could tell me they avoiding Queen's Park Savannah like the plague. I mean, any National Day of Prayer, the Savannah could hold plenty cars. If this, my goodness, well, boy.
I could hold plenty people too.
Yeah.
What you said?
I said the Diwali Nagar could hold plenty people too.
Really? But in the Diwali Nagar has a lot of restrictions. I have a friend who worked there when was COVID. And she said, you can't do this, you can't that, you can't go and buy and bring that here.
That was COVID. That was COVID.
Wow.
You don't have all those restrictions like
I want
COVID.
to talk about Naked. I'm waiting to see if they're going to remove David Naked from the Senate for that statement he made. Because I heard Kurt Mayhew already trying to distance the government from here. And I'm saying, really? He's a UNC senator. This man is so reckless. Let me tell you, Patrick Manning was alive. He would have said, Lord, I should have leave this man in that jail in Lebanon. You all have a blessed day.
All right. And no, they'll do David Naked absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, all that threat about busting head and thing, if any head get bust these wrong coming here, I'll be very surprised. I think all of that is just talk.
I forgot to mention too that in the opposition press conference yesterday, they talked about having Independence Day celebrations in Woodford Square.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure
how. In City Hall, I know they're doing something.
Yeah, in front City Hall.
Not in Woodford Square?
No, well, I think maybe they have other stuff across in Woodford Square, but I know that in front City Hall.
People going to be there, what, 20?
In front City Hall, thousands of people, boy.
Yeah, I mean, in front of the City Hall could hold, okay, I'm sorry, Wendell, it could hold 45 people. So, yes, in front of City Hall?
Yes, that's a huge
space.
You can bring families and all of that. In front of City Hall? Conference.
Yeah. All right, I'm not sure what because I know City Hall has something on that day at Mandela Park, the city corporation.
Yeah, it's everybody have all different kinds of things taking place now, you know. So hold on there, guys. Lincoln.
Well, not a remark.
The problem with in front of City Hall is parking. The problem with Mandela Park, we know what happened in Mandela Park with parking the last time. The Savannah is the ultimate
Mandela Park
grounds to do any kind of thing. Anyway, gentlemen, being abroad and hearing, I used to thought was a myth, but being abroad and hearing news from Trinidad really sung it. You know, when people say Trinidad is not a real place, and we just get upset when you hear it. But when you hear the Minister of Homeland Security put out a detention order for a man who is detained, it sounds ridiculous. You understand? and I haven't heard anybody ask the question because I did my research. When I first started hearing that term bandering about, I was like, what is a detention order? Who is, since when the Minister of National Security, Minister of Homeland Security is authorizing detention orders? And I had to go and do my research to find out, well, okay, what is a detention order? What that was, and I'm not here. I haven't heard any news producer, news reader explain what is a detention order and why is it being. Why are we now hearing about detention orders coming from the Minister of Homeland Security? But it's sounding ridiculous that only have a man detained, only had a man in a maximum security, only put the same man in detention, and only still have to put a detention. So what are they going to lock him up after only lock him up? What is the detention order for a man who's already detained?
Too much bad eggs in the service, Lincoln.
It limits your constitutional rights even more when you're detained. And
that is it. It's just the limiting you a lot more. So if your lawyers or whoever it is had access to you maybe twice a week, you might only get to see them once a week.
Even less access.
Yeah, so
you don't have the usual rights as an accused person.
Yeah. So
what's the real intelligence on Raji Ali then? If it is that you had such strong intelligence on it,
you're just feeling the talk.
Yes,
what's the real story on it? Is it that what was he doing before you move him to Tetra? That because he was still able to do after you move him to Tetra. What's the real story?
Wendell, anyhow, good morning to you, caller.
Oh God.
Morning. Morning.
Morning, Carol.
Carol, you're breaking up.
Carol, you're breaking up.
Independence line. Is that a fact? Do you all know anything about that?
What is that, Carol? Carol.
Carol is also listening to her device.
Yeah.
Not listening.
Yeah, Carol.
No, my TV volume right down.
Listen on your phone. What is the question you're asking, Carol?
Hear you.
What is the question?
I'm asking if you all know anything about the powers that be wanting to cancel Pan on the Avenue and the mayor's independence line in front City Hall. That's what I'm asking.
That's all talk. The powers that be can cancel something the Port of Spain Corporation decide to hold or political party. How the powers that be getting in that?
Yeah.
If they are hosting something and they choose to cancel, that's their business. But they can't cancel something a private group is holding or something. The Woodbrook Association is hosting Pan on the Avenue along with Pan Trinidad and the Port of Spain Corporation. I don't know that the powers that be could stop that. All the requisite approvals for that have been given already. The Pan side's ready to go. The people ready to Pan Trinidad is supporting it. The Woodbrook residents supporting it. The corporation supporting it. I don't know that they could cancel that unless there's some other threat that comes from somewhere. Maybe Raji brother or somebody else decide, hey, I don't want more Pan or some kind of I felt about it, Sorry about this place.
You're dismissing the seriousness of the SOE. Anyhow, let's do the
you really think this SOE serious?
Yeah,
you really think it's serious after listening? What we read just now, that a man who in prison for more than 10 years is such a threat. You detain him, and then you're detaining him further.
I feel you're just being mischievous too,
Nah, man, we can't be serious.
Anyhow,
put up the poll there.
Yeah.
Richard Lapson today. I hope everybody know I sent the poll half an hour ago.
Yeah, I make it clearer. See if this makes more sense, Wendell, or if I should curtail it.
No, that's good. That's good enough. That's good enough. Let people vote on that. I would have liked the other poll though, but that's all right. By the way, tomorrow we have a guest in the second hour, Mr. Novack George. He's a humanist, And of course, our guest tomorrow morning, just letting you know, it will be Dr. Amy Brown. He'll come on from 6:30 tomorrow morning, okay? All right, just letting you know that.
We're trying to get Sean Sobers for Thursday.
Mm-hmm. All right, Minister Sean
Not
Sobers.
Yeah, not to end up.
Yes, we're going to be working on that.
Yeah. So that's the poll. Do you think that Minister Swat Singh owes Karen Dabisi, CEO of First Citizens, an apology for saying she resigned when she did not? That's our poll this morning, because that's part of the headlines this morning. When of course the CEO was saying that she never resigned, she just put forward a proposal that she was going to take a vacation leave, etc., etc. And apparently it is claimed that the minister wrote back and saying, "I accept your resignation." That's so strange. I don't know.
Think this place easy?
I don't know.
And then when they realize they made an error, they say, "Well, here what? Leave now."
People, you can vote through the news. So when we come back, we will tabulate. Maybe you're starting with yes or no, and then put your comments. Okay.
Oh, right. Well, ultimately, say yes or no. That's it.
Yeah.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio. I'm Derek. Murder-accused and alleged gang leader Rajay Ali has been served with a preventative detention order under the state of emergency. The order, executed on August 19th, changes his legal status and places him under emergency detention powers rather than normal prison rules. Ali is challenging his transfer from the maximum security prison to Teteron Barracks in Chaguaramas. He's seeking court orders for basic rights, including airing time, family contact, etc., and access to clothing and toiletries. His lawyers say he is being held in harsh and inhumane conditions since the SOE began on July 18th, including confinement without fresh air, repeated strip searches, and being denied his religious meals. The state denies the claims and says Ali is being held alone in a secure cell with no risk of illness or mistreatment. Ali, who has been awaiting trial for the 2014 murder of senior counsel Dana Sidahal, insists he is innocent and only wants his day in court. The case returns to court on September 5th. Some 5,248 payments have been issued so far under the School Supplies and Book Grant Program for the new academic year, with the Ministry of Education saying the remaining 14,752 payments should be completed by September 5, 2025. The ministry reminded that the grant targets priority applicants, including those on public assistance, the unemployed, persons with disabilities, and low-income households. Notifications will be sent via email, and payments are being forwarded directly to beneficiaries' bank accounts. A valid form of ID, national ID, driver's permit, or passport is required for collection. Checks can also be cashed at district revenue offices in Port of Spain, Sangre Grande, Rio Claro, Tunapuna, San Fernando, Cuva, and at the Division of Education, Research and Technology in Dutch Fort Plaza, Tobago. Former government minister Dr. Lenny Saif has died. He passed away today at his home in San Fernando. Details on the cause of death have not yet been released. Dr. Saif, an engineer by profession, was a close ally of the late Prime Minister Patrick Manning. He first entered Parliament in 1992 and went on to serve as Minister of Planning, Public Administration, Information, Energy, and later as Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister. He was leader of government business in the Senate for 10 years and acted as Prime Minister on several occasions during the Manning administration. In 2017, Saif was awarded Trinidad and Tobago's highest national honor. Reflecting on his career, he gave the then Rowley government a passing grade of 7 out of 10. Dr. Lenny Saif is being remembered as a dedicated public servant and loyal political figure. Bold, firm, and strategic, That's how analysts are describing Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Besesar's support for U.S. President Donald Trump's move to deploy warships off Venezuela's coast to target drug cartels. Dr. Hamid Ghani says the Prime Minister took a strong stand in defense of Guyana, noting that a 2024 agreement with Washington allows for such cooperation. He added that U.S. military presence could help choke off guns and drugs from South America. Dr. Malkesh Bastio says the remarks mark a clear shift in foreign policy from the former PNM administration, pointing out Prasad Besesar has never backed Nicolas Maduro. But Dr. Bishnu Raghunath believes she went too far by openly saying she would grant the U.S. access to Trinidad and Tobago if Venezuela attacked Guyana. He said she could have stopped at welcoming U.S. help against narco cartels. CARICOM remains divided on Venezuela, with some members aligned with ALBA states while others, like Trinidad and Tobago, chart their own course. Attorneys for Dr. Ophelia Wells, our Grenada-based public policy consultant and ex-wife of Grenada's finance minister, have issued a pre-action letter to talk show host Ian Alleyne. The letter, sent August 25th by Omega Chambers, signals possible defamation proceedings over a Facebook post claiming Wells' U.S. visa was revoked. Her lawyers say that is false, noting she traveled freely to the U.S. as recently as last week. Wells, a Tobago-born consultant who once served as Grenada's permanent secretary in finance, divorced Minister Dennis Cornwall in 2023. The letter stresses that while Cornwall faced visa restrictions, Wells did not. Her attorneys argue the post, shared over 170 times to Alleyne's 770,000 followers, has caused reputational harm and distress. They are demanding a retraction and apology within 7 days, or will proceed with legal action. In news globally, at least 20 people, including 5 journalists, were killed in an Israeli double strike on Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. The journalists, working with Reuters, AP, Al Jazeera, and Middle East Eye, were among those targeted. 4 health workers also died, the WHO confirmed. Footage shows rescuers struck by a second blast, moments after rushing to help the first victims. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a tragic mishap and said the military is investigating. Those killed include Reuters cameraman Hussam al-Masri, AP freelancer Mariam Daga, Al Jazeera's Mohammed Salama, Middle East Eye's Ahmed Abu Aziz, and photographer Moaz Abu Taha. Nearly 200 journalists have died in Gaza since the war began in October 2023, making it the deadliest conflict for the press ever documented. The Committee to Protect Journalists says, the UN and world leaders condemned the attack, urging an impartial investigation and renewed calls for a ceasefire. And that's news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
You are listening to New Era TT Radio, and this is our journey to independence. One of the most powerful symbols of independence is the national flag. Designed by Carlisle Chang and officially adopted in 1962, the flag carries deep meaning. The red, the warmth, vitality, and courage of the people. The black speaks to strength, dedication, and resilience, a reminder of the endurance of generations before us. The white represents purity, equality, and the sea that unites us with the wider world. Simple but bold, the flag was designed to be instantly recognizable and full of pride. Every time it is raised, it reminds us of the journey we have taken as a nation and the unity we must continue to build. The red, white, and black, forever our national identity. That was Journey to Independence right here on New Era TT Radio, taking you above and beyond. Mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The Mid-Morning Mix and Mingle. Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align up to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. We with all my friends and them. No place like home. 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 I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. We with all my friends and them. No place like home. 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 Now is the time for it to jam on somebody. Hand up in the air. Madness everywhere. It's in with DNA. To get on bad when we on the roadway. We like we own way. Tell them freedom in with DNA. When every hand raised, we become one race. It's only one stage. This is the birthplace. Look where we are. Greatest carnival. So magical. It's a blessing sent from above. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. We with all my friends and them. No place like home. 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 I feel like I'm running tongue again.
Morning vibe, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Well, everybody, welcome inside the second hour of the Breakfast Show right here on New Era TT Radio and also on M&E TV. Of course, you want to say much thanks to the folks at M&E TV for hosting us over the last few months while we got here. Just to let you know that come September 1st, which is next week, we will be migrating to Gael Caribbean, so you will now be able to pick us up on Gael channel from next week, all right? So thanks to M&E TV. Thank you very much, Peter and the team. And of course, maybe stay with us. We stream all day, every day, right here on New Era TT Radio, newerattradio.com. And of course, your next engagement for all the folks on the YouTube channel will be at 4 o'clock this afternoon inside of the Drive Time Exchange with Tony Fraser. All right, so we're just going to finish up our bills, continue to vote while we do all of that. So when we come back, we will be able to get through with that efficiently. So we'll be back in a short.
Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop. Located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davantry tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Chamflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Chamflair. We do it all.
Coach, yes, Coach, are you passionate about serving others and supporting people as they reach the highest version of themselves? My name is Jesse McBarrow, and I've been able to earn a living as a life coach serving people all around the world, and so can you. Are you ready to be internationally certified? Enroll today for this program and learn everything that you need to know about being a professional life coach. Listen, there are payment plans available as well too, so see you in class.
For registration, contact the Institute of Health and Fitness at 336-4935.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
You don't leave foul to watch God. It's in San Fernando. Queen's Hall was on fire. Now we head to San Fernando at Naparima Bowl. 2 nights only. Saturday the 6th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 6:30 p.m.
I am still laughing about the show at Queen's Hall. If there's a repeat, I will be there.
Tickets available at the Naparima Bowl box office from Tuesday, September 2nd, and now at usual outlets.
I rate it 10 out of 10. I laughed for the entire show.
That was a fantastic production, man. You don't leave foul to watch God. San Fernando, don't miss it.
Of course, we're back, and of course, this is the point at which we are going to get into our poll results. So let me just bring back up the poll. Just reminding you, of course, that tickets are on sale now for You Don't Leave Foul to Watch Corn from the various outlets that have tickets now, which include K Squared Fashions in C3 Center and Brentwood Mall in Chaguanas, and of course, Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. Those 3 outlets have tickets as we speak. So K Squared Fashion, C3 Center, I know they're already selling tickets, and Brentwood Mall in Chaguanas, and of course, Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. The Naparima Bowl box office opens on Tuesday, September 2nd from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily.
Richard,
So
the guy who said something in your ad there actually sounded like Ron DeSantis Jr.
Well, it wasn't him because he didn't see the play yet.
When he sounded kind of like Ron DeSantis, you know. I say like you get Ron to do other things for you from Norfolk.
Oh, no. Once he's smelling too fine, but no. But let me just bring up the poll. Our guest is waiting in the green room, so to speak. But just bring back up our morning poll. And of course, Wendell, you can start giving me the results of our morning poll for this morning.
Of course, our poll this morning, and you can vote whilst I'm speaking and whilst I'm counting votes. Do you think that Minister Swarat Singh owes Karen Debesi, CEO of First Citizens, an apology for saying she resigned when she did not? All right? It's everything is a bacchanal in Trinidad and Tobago, and trust me, this has become one too, okay? I don't know how.
I think Kennedy Sarat Singh would apologize. I think he's the type that would. From what
he referred it to the Attorney General. When they came back, they basically told her, "Listen, proceed and leave right away." You know, it's like a standoff. It's like, oh gosh, don't do the lady that. She's a professional. You know what I mean? She's been a professional all her life. She will probably continue to be a professional. You shouldn't embroil her in an unnecessary bacchanal.
No, I agree with you.
It's like when it happened with the man from Central Bank. You know what I mean? And even back then with Mr. Imbert, I didn't agree with Mr. Imbert, what he did with
Joala.
Mr. Rambaran. I didn't agree with it then. I don't agree with what they're doing with Mr. Hilaire now. Why are you doing professional people those things?
Our politicians.
Yeah, crazy. Such a little tin gods. Joyce Phillips says yes. Miguel Gonzalez, yes. Josie Richardson, yes. Margaret Thomas, yes. Ava Smith, yes. Richard, did you have a little mosquito just now?
I did.
Paul.
I used the flip, so it will digest.
Let's go.
Kazim Mohammed, yes. Helen Prescott, yes. Joanne Cyrus, yes. Alice Sahat, yes. Gregory Boyer, yes. Morning, Gregory. Apollonius, yes. Renal Roberts, yes. CJ, yes. That's beside the point, Scorpion Pepper. Michael Cadet, yes. Rena Jennings, yes. Jennifer, yes. Michael Robinson, yes. Slick Money Grip, yes. Marlon Motley, yes. Cheryl Henry, yes. Diane Payne, yes. Andre Reno didn't vote. Yes, he said yes. Anthony Atwell, yes. Rhea Sampson, yes. Robert Taylor, yes. Mo Gaines didn't vote. Carol Guevara, I don't know what that is. Jason Samuel didn't vote. No apology needed. Okay, so he said no. Jason Samuel said no. Carol Guevara, absolutely. I guess that's yes. Derek Billuin, yes. Michael Oliver, yes. Susie Billuin, yes. Beauty Culture, yes. Felix Kazoo, yes. I was wondering that too, Derek. Candace Weeks, yes. RJ, yes. And Sankofa, yes.
All right. So on the WhatsApp, we have Pauline saying no. Sexy Reds saying yes. We have Kurt Edwards saying yes. Judith saying yes. Captain Ron says yes. Mahi says yes. Fifi says yes. Brenda says yes. Valerie says yes. Afria says yes. Joseph Clement, yes. Mr. Beatty says yes. Joyce Phillips didn't vote. Frank says yes. Archbishop Ashton Clark, yes. Zena says yes. Anand says no. And that's it.
All right.
Any more came in, Wendell, or that's it?
No, that's it.
All right. So our poll this morning, do you think that Minister Swarat Singh owes Karen Dabasi, CEO of First Citizens, an apology for saying she resigned when she did not? That's one of his main stories in the dailies today. So we have 51 people voting on the poll in the allotted time. Of the 51 people voting, 48 of you said yes, you do think that he should apologize. And 3 of you saying no, he should not. So the yeas have it this morning by a huge margin. So our poll this morning, do you think that Minister Swarat Singh owes Karen Dabasi, CEO of First Citizens, an apology for saying she resigned when she did not? The yeas have it in the column by a huge margin, 48-3, 51 people voting. That's the end of the poll for this morning. Voting is now done.
And you know, I've heard a disturbing story as to why they treating the city like they're treating her, you know. Politics really nasty, you know. Nasty, you know. Politics have some nasty people, I should say. Politics itself not nasty, but politics have some nasty people involved, you know.
Okay.
My God.
So human beings can be, you know,
telling me, man.
in the pursuit of power, can do horrible things. And of course, we're about to speak to a humanist now, so he can tell us all about, I suppose, the better parts of being a human being, and how we can lift ourselves up without saying that God has to do it for us. So,
we have two humanists on the show.
You want to Charles would have an answer to that?
We have two. No, I simply asked him, do we have two humanists on the show?
Let's bring in the guest.
Our Let's Talk segment is up next.
So welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Novack George.
Good morning. Long time no see, my brother.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on the breakfast show this morning.
Of course.
Morning, Mr. George. For the benefit of myself, and of course for thousands of people who are looking at us right now, what exactly is a humanist?
Good question. There's an elaborate answer. There's a short answer. The short answer is a humanist is someone who believes that human beings are responsible for human agency, have human agency, and can solve human problems. Does not require mystery, divine intervention, fufunu, or special effects.
You say it doesn't require those things?
No, it does not.
Okay, interesting. So how I should put it? How would a humanist be indoctrinated, if that's the proper word?
I mean, I think it's less indoctrination than it is separation and falling out and finding out. Part of the process of being a humanist perhaps has to do with a certain contrarian character trait, a certain native or trained skepticism, a preference for evidence over received knowledge, a healthy dose of putting the human being first rather than putting the ideology first, practicality, empiricism, a reliance on compassion rather than the rote following of rules. So if you put those things together, what you end up with is a tradition that is already several hundred years old. Humanism traces its origins to the Enlightenment, and those of us who did history in school, and in particular European history, be familiar with that. But you can come upon your humanism through other mechanisms. Obviously, most humanists do not have a strong or any religious faith. Humanism is associated with non-belief. There's a high correlation between being a humanist and being an atheist. But not all humanists are atheists. All humanists, however, tend to think that the need for divine intervention to solve human problems is a non-starter. This particular chapter of the humanist expression in Trinidad was reconstituted in February of this year. We redeveloped a constitution for the humanists of Trinidad. That constitution was adopted and ratified by a roll of first members, which are really second members. I'll explain that in a second. In February of this year, and an executive was elected, of which I am the president. Dr. John Gideon is the current secretary, and Mr. Ishwar Bisesa is the current treasurer. There was a humanist group of which all of us were prior members. It went through a period of dormancy, obviously on the outturn from the pandemic. We did a poll, we did some research, and there was a strong indication that people wanted us to get on with humanism and humanist business in Trinidad. So we reconstituted the group in February of this year, and we've made some strides. Number one, we've become a full member of Humanists International. We've become an affiliate member of the Humanist Association of America, American Humanist Association. That affiliate status gives us access to some resources. They don't tell us what to do. We're in good alignment with Humanists International. And we're working on some affiliation with a couple of other important international organizations. Amnesty International comes to mind. We're also a registered NPO. locally. And we have our own bank details set up, and I can send you all in the chat some social media information for the group, because we're almost completely set up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and the group will be powered by its own website and so on.
Yeah. Now you mentioned
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I remember in the former iteration of Humanists Trinidad and Tobago, and I remember Shane Collins was involved, Kevin Banducci was involved.
Right. Shane Collins was a founding member of the previous group, and it's a hell of a journey. From a human perspective, in the last few years, the following humanists have died: Dennis Solomon, Shane Collins, and B.C. Perez.
Mm-hmm.
3 nationally known non-believers who were actually part of the founding membership of the prior group.
Yeah, because I remember they used to make a lot of statements on national issues. The humanists would often be vocal about what they felt about it and what their perspective was. And I was wondering, I'm glad you said it went dormant, because I was wondering, where was the humanist voice in a lot of the various issues that have popped up since then? But since Shane's death, I just said, well, okay, maybe they're not around anymore. So I was surprised when I heard, well, you are the new president and stuff, and it has resurfaced.
Fairly recent. Speaking of presence, though, part of the reason we end up on your morning program is because of the 3 letters to the editor. We'll call it 4 if you include my personal letter, about the drama, unnecessary drama, the government has caused with the cancellation of independence celebrations. So we were involved in making statements about that. We attracted some attention.
What was that statement?
So we had a letter to the editor, meaning the association, the organization had a letter to the editor, in which we lodged our objections and concerns to the cancellation of the parade. Not on the grounds that a Caribbean island nation needs to have a military parade, but on the wider grounds that the substitution of prayer for national reflection is a non-starter in a secular republic. That was the basis of our objection. We cited some statistics in that. One Balio Singh quarreled with our statistics. It turns out he was wrong. And we wrote back to the newspapers to point out that he was wrong. And they published our response to him on Monday. So we've had a good back and forth, a healthy exchange of views. And I had a more sarcastic and saucy letter. Richard, I can send you a copy, in which I take issue with the fact that, well, if you're going to go down the road of prayer to solve everything, surely all the faith in the country and all the national anti-crime prayers should have reduced our crime problem to manageable proportions a long time ago, and that's not happened. The vast majority of persons incarcerated and awaiting trial are also believers. It's a myth that everybody in jail is a hater of religion. That's not true. Most people, they're quite properly inoculated against non-belief.
You know, there's a school of thought, Mr. George, and I'm sure you would have heard this, that people say that if it wasn't for prayer, that it would have been a lot worse. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, that's backwards reasoning, actually. If it wasn't for prayer, this would have been a lot worse. If it wasn't for that, that contains a number of logical fallacies. That's the kind of thing we like to put people down in proper workshops, proper lectures and seminars to talk through those manipulations and those fallacies of logic and those holes in people's understanding of how reality is constructed. It's check the data, man. Everyone who believes as they are entitled to under the Constitution, that's fine. What's not fine is using your personal belief as the national agenda, particularly in a plural and diverse culture such as ours. We think that's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned before that not all humanists are atheists. What about, are all atheists humanists?
It's a good question. I would say the The correlation the other way is probably more, the mapping the other way, I should say, is probably closer to 100%. But humanism is not the only creed by which one can live a non-faith life. And by some writers, my secretary will tell me in a chat note just now, what's the name of the author? He's an African American who's written a book about the perspective of atheism and humanism in the Black experience in America. And he writes a very interesting challenge. He says that religion should be regarded as a technology. It's a tool, and you can apply the tool to a non-theistic approach to living. And by his estimation, given the way he frames it, the Black experience of humanism in the United States is a kind of religious fellowship, but one that doesn't have a deity. And what he's talking about is something close to the experience of Buddhism, which does not require a deity or a set of rules and maxims to live by that are governed by priests. Although Buddhism has its own hierarchical structure, obviously. But that's what he is talking about. And in that instance, it is true or fair to say that one can have a kind of spirituality without having a kind of orthodox faith, according to the big 5 faiths in the world.
So in terms of the government canceling the Independence Day parade and declaring a day of prayer, do you think that they're simply just pandering to the public, or is that a serious attempt at trying to fix Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, the latter end of what you've said there really gets to the crux of the matter. Their National Day of Prayers amounts to invoking a day of give-upness, because you have had a state of emergency. You've provided no statistics on your progress. You've provided no indications as to what you would consider success under the state of emergency. If you told me that your aim under the state of emergency was to break up the 10 nasty gangs controlling crime in the country and pulverize those gangs, and you would define success in that as XYZ, you could put your performance metrics and your targets into the public domain and say, hold us accountable to that. It's a clear win. And I would argue then that, well, you didn't need a state of emergency to achieve that. You needed the security services to knuckle down and do their job. This is the most watery state of emergency anyone's ever witnessed. There's no curfew, there's no injunction against gathering. There's all kinds of things which are completely normal. So all this does is give the police extra reach and extra powers, from which we've seen no produce. They'll say no produce yet, but we live here long enough to understand. If it was going to happen, it would happen by now. If you take away the national parade on Independence Day, what do you have by way of independence reflection? They could have done a number of things. They could have had a national essay writing competition for the children and young adults. You could have invited people whose age and stage of life, people who began in 1962 with the country, are of a certain vintage now. And you could have invited them to reflect on their experiences and how they feel at midlife compared to how the country is doing. You could have invited academia to provide papers to reflect on the quality of our independence and republicanism. It's a whole season of reflection we could have been in, beginning with emancipation, transitioning into independence, and completing with republicanism. We could have had this whole secular season of deep examination of the state of the country and reflection in our economics, in our social areas, in academia, in the balance of performance in education between our female and male students. All of these things could have part of a serious examination. But prayer closes that door and asks everyone to genuflect for themselves quietly. And it's not problem solving by any means. It's a form of throwing your hands in the air and saying, you don't know what to do, so you're resorting to the mysterious. And we think that's wrong, because that's not what the government was hired for. It's a clear-cut majority they won, And there's every evidence that people were anxious for them to do better than the previous administration. And prayer was not part of the mandate. I didn't hear one person who is part of the administration now say on the hustings that national prayers will be the order of the day. So,
yes. But you know, religion, Novack, religion is often used. Well, religion and politics have always been intertwined historically. In fact, religion was once the top of the political hierarchy, if so to speak. So religion has always been a tool used by politicians, whether they were religious or agnostic or not. It has always been a tool that they use conveniently because they know that there is a presumptive majority of adherents to whatever religious belief.
Well,
so
you're getting to the heart of the matter of why politicians are often cynical and will use whatever manipulation the culture of their particular country permits them to. And you're saying that we may have a structural problem. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Now, there's a way to train the mind to spot those kinds of problems. The Humanists have a Thursday night forum. It's really for members only, but if it gets kind of popular and people start to knock on our window and say, let us in, we can expand it. And in those discussion forums, we've had the benefit, for example, of Senior Counsel Rishi Das came and gave us a very insightful presentation on saved law, which, Richard, you may know, is a section of our legal code, which is retained, grandfathered into current legislation from our colonial rules and ordinances. And it turns out that saved law is the mechanism by which we continue to retain the death penalty. It's the mechanism by which we continue to have bisexual and homosexual persons, adults in the country, basically be under the hatchet of the state. They're subject to prosecution or persecution, take your pick, because these laws exist on the books still. And while other Caribbean jurisdictions have worked towards reducing or repealing their save law sections, the Trinidad and Tobago judiciary has taken the very prideful position that that is for the legislation. And so long as these laws are on the book, they will continue to interpret them in favor of regulations that disadvantage and take away standing human rights from people. There's the recent case of, what is Jason's name? That he just lost his appeal and they may be going to the appeal. Pardon me?
Jason Jones. Yeah.
Yes. So the Jason Jones case is the latest example, and it was on the basis of the outturn from his case that we invited Rishi Das to come and talk to us. So this is a clear example of we could do better as a country. You can't be in your 60s as an independent country. You've grandfathered in these old bits of legislation, whatever the merits of doing it in the first place. When you updated your legal code in 76 for republicanism, and again in the recodified 1981, the reasons why you retain this are a mystery. There is enough jurisprudence and understanding of a modernized legal architecture for us to have decidedly gotten rid of these things. And I think in the case of our LGBTQ plus community in Trinidad, they need all the help they can get, and the Humanists are quite prepared to partner with them to get rid of these things that are hanging over their heads. And we intend to have 1 or 2 symposiums about things like that. But that was an example of something that we have already done this year. It's worth repeating because it was very good and it can use an expanded audience.
I never understood, Novack, as a student of law, why the savings clause was retained or included in 1962. Was retained. Why it was included in the Constitution in the first place in 1962 by Sir Ellis Clark. I have no clue. And because it's kind of like a security blanket. That's how I look at it. It was a security blanket that going into independence, but we weren't sure yet how independent we wanted to be. So let's keep a clause that still gives us a kind of backhand into the laws of colonial power. And many of those laws that you're talking about with other countries at the time have since repealed their laws and changed a lot of what the laws. And they changed a lot of the laws we inherited, and that are still, on our are still actionable.
Well, okay. So for everything you've just said there, it seems reasonable to me that, and to humanists, for example, that is something where you could have convened some cross section of the legal fraternity plus other minds from other sections of the community. And this could have been something that we could have reflected on as part of our independence reflections. This is a serious matter. It requires a structured approach. It would have to be implemented via the Parliament. It will need the general understanding of the public. It's obviously going to affect everybody who's a practicing attorney. And that converts a potential forever issue into something where, here is an example of human beings have solved a human problem and reduced the pain and suffering. The other thing is, we could certainly do with an examination of how has our education system and schooling system done since 62, right? What's been the fruits of all of that spending, etc., etc. Those are the kinds of things. And there are other things that under the Save Law thing, which maybe deserve their own special consideration. The deliberations over whether or not, when we remove the savings clauses, what do we do about the death penalty? Humanists would prefer that the death penalty does not form part of the laws of the Republic. And there are other examples like that. For example, that children should not be compelled into marriage because of anybody's religious practice, however historical, and things like that. Those are clear examples, and those things deserve to be ventilated in the public. And,
I hear you, and that takes political will and a certain political foresight and strength of character. And I think people born before
strength of character, Richard.
Yeah, and I think people born before 1962 have no interest. And we have been saddled with leaders from pre-1962 since we are independent. We have been saddled with people from pre-1962. So all of them, have interest in changing that savings law, including the current administration. I would like them to prove me wrong, but I don't think so. Because guess what? Their leader is pre-1962. So I think it's only when the post-1962 generation actually takes hold of the corridors of power that you will see real transformation.
I hear you. There's a school of thought that says the only thing that changes is the generations. And for certain things to change, a generation that is in control of certain things needs to naturally move on from this earthly plane. So I hear what you say. But in the meantime, it would be irresponsible for humanists to say, let's just wait and see who dies off first. Certainly, if you think about the millennials and Gen Z, those two adult generations should certainly be making their way into the corridors of power with a fairly revised understanding of how human beings can solve human problems and how they can work with urgency on whichever cross-section of the slate is bothering them the most. Some of this is low-hanging fruit. Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, there's one other, I believe it's Jamaica, have all been working on removal of their savings clauses. And Trinidad and Tobago is last to the show. But that doesn't mean we can't come down and get it done. Doesn't mean that at all.
I know some of them didn't have savings.
I forget which jurisdiction, but when they did their independence code, they took out their savings. I forget who did that as well. Brave, part of the colonial overhang has to do with the fact that you had a certain set of men in robes, Queen's counsels, who wouldn't want to give up the advantage of having a certain kind of access to the British legal system. And the savings clauses enabled some of that and kept some of that in a fairly strict alignment. the way a medical practitioner has to occasionally refresh their understanding of and knowledge of medicine to remain in relevancy and in practice, the same is true of the legal fraternity. When society moves on and certain parts of the legal framework require revision and updating, some lawyers are going to have to almost go back to school, certainly go and get certified in certain parts of the law. Good example of that, we've had this brilliant modern constitution, near constitution level change in Act number 15, or is it number 1 of 2015. In January of 2015, the People's Partnership UNC-led government enacted the Procurement Act. The regime after them tried to decimate it, particularly with the 2020 amendments. Those amendments removed all kinds of things from the scrutiny of the law. If this government knows what's good for us, one of those things would be to just repeal those December 2020 amendments so that legal fees, accounting fees, government-to-government partnerships, and a whole host of other things which are currently not subject to the scrutiny of the Procurement Act will once again be under the remit of the Procurement Act. And let's be clear about what that is saying from a humanist point of view. Human beings are spending money to get something done and can't see where the money is going because certain things are outside of the Procurement Act. That's unreasonable because it doesn't allow you to properly interrogate or investigate issues. Not everything is corruption. Some things are incompetence. And if money is incompetently spent, that's a form of corruption. And we should be able to interrogate that. And it shouldn't be that if we make an arrangement with a private corporation from Brazil or South Africa, and there is a management agreement, that's outside the Procurement Act, and we can't solve the problem, and therefore our hands are tied. The current administration enacted, it was the best thing they did in their previous turn at the wicket. And one of the best things they can do now is to correct the things that are exceptions to the Procurement Act. That would be a big change because it would have far-reaching consequences to one of the central concerns of every citizen. How is our money being spent? Where is the value for dollar? And the Procurement Act helps us to answer that question in a way that is far-reaching. The current Chief Justice, in his objections to the Procurement Act, ended up saying something to the effect that the Act, as it was currently intended, would disturb existing arrangements. Well, my good sir, that's precisely what the Act is for, to disturb existing arrangements.
Mm-hmm. Another good piece of legislation that the former, well, it was under the People's Partnership, I think it was, or a former UNC version, there so many being several versions, was the Freedom of Information Act. That came under them, and it wasn't done under the PNM. The PNM has always been very secretive. We have inherited a very secretive kind of culture.
The Freedom of Information Act was done under the Pandey administration. That was brought to Parliament by Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj. The Freedom of Information Act is 26 years old this year. It is one of the most important pieces of functioning legislation. It's not perfect. It could do with a little bit of an upgrade. The software in the Act could do with some upgrading. I have utilized Section 13 of the Freedom of Information Act to find out all kinds of things which otherwise would have been difficult to find out. There is still a lot of secrecy and a lot of avoidance of probity. There are several government departments that do not do well when you submit. They're hostile. But the Freedom of Information Act is 26 years old. That is another thing we could have spent Independence and Republic Day reflecting on. How have we done in terms of information transparency on the part of the state? Certainly we could do with understanding the data. I don't think there has been a Freedom of Information Act report to Parliament for several years now. I know you can text me and tell me quickly how many years now there's not been the annual report on how the Freedom of Information Act is doing. But the point is we could do with a mother lode that tells us how the Act has done, how many freedom of information requests have there been? How many have been successful? How many have been rejected? The Freedom of Information Act is meant to defend the public interest. And it is certainly true that every human being in Trinidad and Tobago should know more about the operations of the state, because you're entitled under the law to ask a question. You can certainly ask a question about your own records that are held by the state. There's no one has more records on you than the government, for better or for worse. And a lot of people don't even know how to ask for those records. Think about your entire working footprint in Inland Revenue, National Insurance, just to name two.
Would you be willing to take a couple calls,
And
Mr.
I know
George?
you want me back on the program to talk about that. That's a whole different ants nest. You need to bring another expert on with me.
Yeah.
And the same is true for the so that Freedom of Information Act, just to wrap up that point, Richard, it's 26 years old. The software could do with updating. We could certainly have done with a national discussion about it, some kind of a symposium. The lawyers could talk. The top 10 people in the country who have utilized that Freedom of Information Act to dig into that gold mine of state information. It would be interesting if the top 10 people who utilized the act got on a round table to tell us what the experience of trying to ask the state for information is like. It's without the Freedom of Information Act, I don't know where we'd be. So that's a big one.
All right,
Yeah.
Mr. George. Before we wrap up, we have a couple of people online. We'd like to take a couple of calls. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right. Caller, good morning to you.
Morning, Mr. George. Just by chance, the black intellectual you're speaking about in the United States, they happen to be Dr. Thomas Sowell by chance, the individual who gave that very good concept of using religion like we use technology and not making it, run our every being. And lastly,
I can check his name.
Do you think Madison and Jefferson, to some extent, were some of the original humanists and the founding of the United States? And I will listen off here. Thank you very much for being here today.
Okay, thanks very much.
Well, that's a nice one. I don't think Jefferson was a humanist in the modern sense, but he was such a conscientious objector in a number of grounds that we would grant him humanist as affiliate status. Madison, on the other hand, is probably closer to being a humanist. If you read Madison's papers and letters, it's a clear expression of a rejection of certain kinds of religious controls. It's not so clear-cut in the case of Jefferson, although Jefferson is such an architect of independence that he generally accorded. We give him a bly, but Madison is clearly more of a humanist. Jefferson, no. And that's before you introduce any controversy about the heritage of the Jefferson family. That's not good.
All right, caller, good
I will
morning.
get the name of the name
Good
of
morning.
the black intellectual in America.
I wasn't going to listen to this interviewer, but I'm glad I did. Mr. George, you have a kind of Mariano Brown tone that was refreshing. Also, the logic applied to governance, hearing it from someone I dare say I'm neutral. I've never heard about the term humanist. It is refreshing because I would normally.
You can find us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook.
Pardon me?
You can find us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Just put in Humanist TT. You'll find us.
I will definitely look that up. But hearing your logic about the dissemination of laws, the inconsistencies, the foolishness that's going on right now, with at your tone, it was like, wow, somebody else gets it, right? It was definitely refreshing to hear that we're applying too much religion and hoping for faith fix our problems, and we could fix our own problems. When we could sit down and analyze what is our problems, use our brains, and figure this stuff out. But instead, we want to pray. And I said it earlier on this week on this program, and I want to believe that my question is what sparked this interview.
No, it did not.
I said it earlier on on this very
No, it did not.
Much too egotistical.
Thanks very
How
much.
long you trying to run this show?
Yeah, but no, don't take any credit for it. It was not.
Really, you could have given the man 1% credit. But at the heart of his question as to where humanists have been, there was a period of dormancy after the pandemic, and I don't know that the United Nations have officially lifted the pandemic, but let's see. To the heart of his question, you can find us on Instagram, Humanist TT. I better go look it up, and same for TikTok, same for Facebook. The website will trail behind those three things because those three things are where people are talking. The website will kind of act as our archive and our wicket keeper behind the scenes, but it'll be up within a couple of hours, I think. How do you all want to wrap this up? Because there's a lot to talk about in a second dose of this, Richard.
Yeah, but I mean, we obviously have to have you back, Novack George. But I mean, could give your closing remarks as we end the conversation for this morning. But it's always interesting to get other perspectives from one of the usual perspectives you get, touted by politicians and other leaders in the society. That is not always based on logic. And
in closing, I would remind people that even though Trinidad and Tobago is a deeply religious society, at least the survey says so, not everyone finds meaning or purpose through faith. There is another path, and that path involves critical thinking, scientific reasoning, and ethical living without a reliance on religion. The humanists of Trinidad and Tobago are here to support people who also have life stage goals in terms of what do you do when someone of no faith dies and wants to have an appropriate, respectful, non-religious ceremonial departure. We actually have a celebrant, Dr. John Gideon, who can officiate things like that. We can also do non-religious marriages and things like that. We'll put those things up on the social media later for people to be able to see where we go from here. So talking about the humanist experience in terms of the usual life stages will be a slightly different discussion, and I welcome a chance to come back and talk about that.
That would be interesting, a non-religious marriage. You need to, we definitely have to have you back then, because I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in that one.
Yeah, once you get it in space, we'll always accommodate you, Novack. So thank you very much for being with us today.
Okay, interesting conversation.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Mr. George.
Bye for now.
Yeah.
Another side, another view. Yeah.
Oh my God,
all right, so we're going to the news, and then we'll come back and close off, people.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio. I'm Derek. Murder-accused and alleged gang leader Rajay Ali has been served with a preventative detention order under the state of emergency. The order, executed on August 19th, changes his legal status and places him under emergency detention powers rather than normal prison rules. Ali is challenging his transfer from the maximum security prison to Teteron Barracks in Chaguaramas. He's seeking court orders for basic rights, including airing time, family contact, etc., and access to clothing and toiletries. His lawyers say he is being held in harsh and inhumane conditions since the SOE began on July 18th, including confinement without fresh air, repeated strip searches, and being denied his religious meals. The state denies the claims and says Ali is being held alone in a secure cell with no risk of illness or mistreatment. Ali, who has been awaiting trial for the 2014 murder of senior counsel Dana Sidahal, insists he is innocent and only wants his day in court. The case returns to court on September 5th. Some 5,248 payments have been issued so far under the School Supplies and Book Grant Program for the new academic year, with the Ministry of Education saying the remaining 14,752 payments should be completed by September 5, 2025. The ministry reminded that the grant targets priority applicants, including those on public assistance, the unemployed, persons with disabilities, and low-income households. Notifications will be sent via email, and payments are being forwarded directly to beneficiaries' bank accounts. A valid form of ID, national ID, driver's permit, or passport is required for collection. Checks can also be cashed at district revenue offices in Port of Spain, Sangre Grande, Rio Claro, Tunapuna, San Fernando, Cuva, and at the Division of Education, Research and Technology in Dutch Fort Plaza, Tobago. Former government minister Dr. Lenny Saith has died. He passed away today at his home in San Fernando. Details on the cause of death have not yet been released. Dr. Saith, an engineer by profession, was a close ally of the late Prime Minister Patrick Manning. He first entered Parliament in 1992 and went on to serve as Minister of Planning, Public Administration, Information, Energy, and later as Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister. He was leader of government business in the Senate for 10 years and acted as Prime Minister on several occasions during the Manning administration. In 2017, Saith was awarded Trinidad and Tobago's highest national honor. Reflecting on his career, he gave the then Rowley government a passing grade of 7 out of 10. Dr. Lenny Saith is being remembered as a dedicated public servant and loyal political figure. Bold, firm, and strategic. That's how analysts are describing Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Besesar's support for U.S. President Donald Trump's move to deploy warships off Venezuela's coast to target drug cartels. Dr. Hamid Ghani says the Prime Minister took a strong stand in defense of Guyana, noting that a 2024 agreement with Washington allows for such cooperation. He added that U.S. military presence could help choke off guns and drugs from South America. Dr. Malkesh Bastio says the remarks mark a clear shift in foreign policy from the former PNM administration, pointing out Prasad Besesar has never backed Nicolas Maduro. But Dr. Bishnu Raghunath believes she went too far by openly saying she would grant the U.S. access to Trinidad and Tobago if Venezuela attacked Guyana. He said she could have stopped at welcoming U.S. help against narco cartels. CARICOM remains divided on Venezuela, with some members aligned with ALBA states while others, like Trinidad and Tobago, chart their own course. Attorneys for Dr. Ophelia Wells, our Grenada-based public policy consultant and ex-wife of Grenada's finance minister, have issued a pre-action letter to talk show host Ian Alleyne. The letter, sent August 25th by Omega Chambers, signals possible defamation proceedings over a Facebook post claiming Wells' U.S. visa was revoked. Her lawyers say that is false, noting she traveled freely to the U.S. as recently as last week. Wells, a Tobago-born consultant who once served as Grenada's permanent secretary in finance, divorced Minister Dennis Cornwall in 2023. The letter stresses that while Cornwall faced visa restrictions, Wells did not. Her attorneys argue the post, shared over 170 times to Alleyne's 770,000 followers, has caused reputational harm and distress. They are demanding a retraction and apology within 7 days, or will proceed with legal action. In news globally, at least 20 people, including 5 journalists, were killed in an Israeli double strike on Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. The journalists, working with Reuters, AP, Al Jazeera, and Middle East Eye, were among those targeted. 4 health workers also died, the WHO confirmed. Footage shows rescuers struck by a second blast, moments after rushing to help the first victims. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a tragic mishap and said the military is investigating. Those killed include Reuters cameraman Hussam al-Masri, AP freelancer Mariam Daga, Al Jazeera's Mohammed Salama, Middle East Eye's Ahmed Abu Aziz, and photographer Moaz Abu Taha. Nearly 200 journalists have died in Gaza since the war began in October 2023, making it the deadliest conflict for the press ever documented. The Committee to Protect Journalists says, the UN and world leaders condemned the attack, urging an impartial investigation and renewed calls for a ceasefire. And that's news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Coach, yes, Coach, are you passionate about serving others and supporting people as they reach the highest version of themselves? My name is Jesse McBarrow, and I've been able to earn a living as a life coach serving people all around the world, and so can you. Are you ready to be internationally certified? Enroll today for this program and learn everything that you need to know about being a professional life coach. Listen, there are payment plans available as well too, so see you in class.
For registration, contact the Institute of Health and Fitness at 336-4935.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
You don't leave foul to watch God. It's in San Fernando. Queen's Hall was on fire. Now we head to San Fernando at Naparima Bowl. 2 nights only. Saturday the 6th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 6:30 p.m.
I am still laughing about the show at Queen's Hall. If there's a repeat, I will be there.
Tickets available at the Naparima Bowl box office from Tuesday, September 2nd, and now at usual outlets.
I rated 10 out of 10. I laughed for the entire show.
That was a fantastic production, man.
You don't leave foul to watch God. San Fernando, don't miss it.
Well, we are back, and of course, this is where we start to wrap up the breakfast show for this morning. We're in our final minute, so to speak. Of course, tickets are available for You Don't Leave Foul to Watch Court. Tickets are available now at K Squared Fashions in C3 Center, K Squared Fashions in Brentwood Mall in Chigolas, and Fence of Marabella, Bad Roundabout in Marabella. You can get tickets there. They already have tickets and they're already selling tickets. Of course, the box office at Naparima Bowl opens on Tuesday, the 2nd of September, which is next week Tuesday. It opens and it will be open from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. But right now, you can get tickets at K Squared Fashions, C3 Center, Brentwood Mall, and Fence of Marabella by the roundabout. And of course, you can also check out RSRR Productions Theater on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok for further information on how you can do it by just online, as well as see all of the latest information and the numbers you can call if you need assistance. This has been the Breakfast Show for this morning. Of course, New Era TT Radio continues on the stream, newerattradio.com, and New Era TT Radio on TuneIn for all of the smart devices. And of course, Wendell, what you have to say as we're about to go?
In exactly 5 days' time, we will be on Gael TV as opposed to M&E TV. We will be streaming, well, we will be showing live on Gael TV from September 1st. Well, of course, that's a holiday, right? Isn't September 1st a holiday, right?
So
September 2nd.
So from the second.
Gael TV. Of course, cricket is at the... Sorry, Sir Charles?
No, I was going to say, I like you don't work on a holiday.
Oh, no, we don't. We don't do it. I'm going to say something else. We don't. But cricket is at the Brian Lara Stadium also to this from today. Coming to think of it, I think we have a match today. Antigua, Barbuda will be playing the Falcons down at the Brian Lara Stadium. So anybody have tickets? Anderson and Randy Mahes, where you all? They can feel free to drop
GP
or two for me. Or anybody have one of those VIP boxes that they want to invite me to. Oh, there was a time that's where I watched my cricket from, courtesy the NLCB. But oh God, times have changed. So if you have a box invitation and you want to carry me along, feel free. I'll drive. I'll drive. Yeah, I'll drive. Right. Other than that,
let me say good morning to my good friend Corey Pascal.
Hey, where are you going?
Why? Yeah, Wendell, why?
Yeah, but why? Why are we saying good morning, Damon? Anyway.
It just got nice to say hi and hello to your friends, you know? Even though you don't hear from them too often.
Yeah, he's traveled all over the world around now. I sure he's somewhere in Boston or somewhere. Or
he's back home for a couple days.
Wendell, he's busier than most pilots.
Exactly. Captain Ron, I want nothing with Corey Pascal, you know.
Corey has been more plane than Captain Ron.
All right, so this is where we wrap it up this Tuesday morning. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, remember.
And this, of course, you go ahead with them.
Let go and let go. I'm going back to that. God, something had to give in this place.
No, abandon God, no, man.
No, something had to give.
That's the best you can come up with. We just talk about humanists for nearly an hour. That's the best you can come up with. Let go and let go. Let go. You just talk about humanists.
Yeah. We say not all humanists are atheists. So he will go with that.
All right, this has been the Breakfast Show.
All right.
Speak to you right tomorrow morning, people.
All right. Take care. Don't forget our guest early in the morning, 6:30 is Dr. Amory Brown. Tomorrow, he's got, right?
6:30?
6:30. That's the time he can come on, right? 6:30.
All right.
So thanks for that.
Programming a bit
That's a good idea.
Sorry?
So we do some
snow.
Yes.
I put that in the chat since yesterday, boy.
Well, I missed that.
I missed that too.
I said,
can we do that in two chance?
Yeah.
I'm going to point you right back to it.
No, them former politicians, they say they do things, and when you check, they already do it.
I'm going to point you back to it now. Because right after you send the minister food, I'll point you back to it now.
All right, let's go.
Bye-bye.
This has been the Breakfast Show, people. Speak to you back early tomorrow morning.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned.